Hello guys, welcome to Starry Night Insight. Welcome to my channel. Today I'm doing an energy at the collective at large, where we're shifting, because right now we are going through huge shifts as a collective, and I want to do a reading about those shifts to help guide you guys through this transformational phase. So I'm going to go into channel and see what I get. So we'll get started. So I'm seeing a lot of fear within the collective right now, right away. People that have liked things a certain way and felt like if they run a certain way, the methods that people use to go through day to day are not working anymore. Like their way of getting through each day and being able to move into a life that resonates with them is no longer working for a lot of people. So there is a lot of fear and a lot of panic or upheaval around that. Let's see. And it's because it feels like there are two energies right now battling each other. There's control from darker energies, which is like people, a lot of people in power, no matter what side you're on, people in power, people of influence, and then people who it feels like are just kind of lost. The energy feels lost. So people who know how to manage and control and hold power, and people who feel lost around power and don't know how to hold on to inner power are totally butting heads with each other. And it feels like actually neither strategy is working. People that have control of others normally and know how to run the masses, it's no longer working. I'm seeing that energy, the energies of like even ads, doesn't even have to be political figures, but like TV ads, like anything where they're trying to brainwash or get in your head to manipulate. It's just not having the same power it used to. And people who feel like they have their own way of doing things, or they have a system set up in place and that's what resonates and works for them, it feels like that's not working either, because it also means that they have to depend on those kinds of businesses or people in the first place. So let's see, what do we do with that energy shift? People are looking for different answers. They're looking for a way to ground and answers to help guide them through the experiences they're having right now, which are challenging at best. So to work through these things, they need help with, let's see. It feels like things are gonna not get worse before they get better, but there's gonna be more battle scars before there's a major change. So I see a back and forth, like the control versus the not kind of getting in line or like having their own way of control. And it's like not even like necessarily light and dark. It kind of feels like controlling and powerful versus personal power, or just like an individualistic way of being, two groups fighting one another. So it feels like there's a sway back and forth for a while. I see this swaying back and forth. And people that are trying to find a way to ground themselves and move through things, you are being called right now to come up with other solutions to your path. If you know there's a certain place you need to get to feel like your foundation is set and you're where you need to be, figure out other ways to get there. What other ways can you put yourself there? How else can you create this kind of foundational situation for yourself, where you're not relying on others? And by others, I do mean businesses. I get a sense with the collective right now too, this is happening because there's a big push for people to reconnect in community settings, like looking to communities to help serve one another and keep each other grounded versus a business, versus a political party. Looking to local communities. So whatever one you live in, whether it's a big city or a small town, there's a local community within that you can go to and you can get the food, water, bread, like whatever you need, you can find it there. And it feels like there's like even like a bartering system. So it's not all based in just income. It becomes based on bartering. It becomes based in like a true energy exchange of give and take. Because right now it's all about transactions. Everything is, people are set up in life, have set themselves up to have transactional relationships with their work. And when you have it with work, you have it in your personal relationships, you have it with your friends, your family, like it trickles down into everything. So everything for a lot of people has just become truly transactional on some level, some worse than others. And there's a big push for the collective to come back in smaller community settings and have more of a give and take with each other, and use that to help ground and feel taken care of and feel like a part of people, because there is a huge separation and divide that keeps widening with everyone. Like right now, everyone is feeling like the safest thing for them to do is to self-isolate, because everyone else is stopping them or preventing them from moving or pushing them in some direction. A lot of families are doing that, friends groups, just a lot of people. Political parties is what I'm getting to. So there's a push to kind of push everybody out of this feeling of separation and isolation and feeling like you can't be around people right now, and bringing people back together and relying on each other, but in a healthy way where it's a fair give and take and it's mutual, and you get things from one another that you truly need and you feel connected. So connection through community, connection through others in a healthy and fulfilling way. So it is a shifting energy from money, stuff, corporations and the government taking care of you, to there's a big push that Spirit wants us to go into energetically of forming smaller communities and feeling like those communities will take care of you, because you're also taking care of them as well. So there is going to be this push and pull for a while. So that's why they're saying individual people, the best thing you can do right now for this is start figuring out if my normal solution and way of dealing with things to ground myself or create abundance doesn't work. What else can I do? What other ways can I create abundance and create a foundation and ground myself right now? Because what I normally would do doesn't work. So how do I do this differently? And how do I trust it's going to work out for me? And try different things. And it will involve collaboration, interdependent relationships, bartering, true energy exchanges. Start noticing what energy exchanges you have, personal, business, work, whatever. Start really feeling like they're feeding you and you're feeding the other person too. But just start experimenting with that, and that will over time create a movement towards these smaller communities. Let me see what else I get. That's kind of the answer against these big corporations, against big government, against all of it, is when we have community settings where we're interdependent within and we have our needs met from one another. We don't need to rely on bigger corporations, governments, bigger parties to do it for us, because we'll already be self-sustainable. So there's a movement towards being self-sustainable through others, through just, small groups of people. Let's see what else comes through on the collective at large. So there will be battles for a while. I'm seeing like there's a war right now. I do see that. And it's just saying like these things, it's like change doesn't come without any change, even from an individual level. Like people don't change unless you hit rock bottom. So we're ultimately experiencing that on collective level, where things are getting so difficult and out of control collectively that we collectively hit a rock bottom. in terms of just making it through life. And that creates that change, that creates the need to change, and a change in priorities. I'm seeing the word priorities, and a change in expansion, and change in connection. Connection's going to change. Let's see, what else? Trust you already know, that just came up. Let's see what else we get here. So where can you serve people around you, and how? How can you serve people around you, and what can you give? And when do you need things? And it just will all come back to you. So just start seeing it in that way. So of course, when we're trying to suck power out of something that big, whether it is a company or a government or a tech company or whatever, they're going to fight back, create wars, create bigger lack, make it harder, because they're trying to distract people from thinking and realizing what changes need to be had. So it's kind of like, let this explosion take place, and then after the explosion comes a time where people sit down and really figure out. I see there's going to be a time after this where everyone in the collective is like, now where do we all go? Do we go back to the way it was, or do we do something different? And there's just a big call to do something different, to create these types of communities, to create what's needed within them. Let's see what else I get here. See aliens. Let's see what that's about. Yeah, so there just may be help that we don't understand comes through to re-guide us as a collective as well, because there is such a push from things we don't understand that are beyond our world to help us come back in a healthier and more progressive way. And progressive meaning like everyone has a chance to connect and succeed in whatever way that is for them. Let's see what else comes through. People are kind of running around like a chicken with their head cut off right now, but it is temporary. There's something in 2 months. I feel like in 2 months there's going to be a big energetic shift. Let's see what that looks like. People getting more and more fed up in the next few months. Like it feels like over the summer even. People getting so fed up that groups of people go off and be like, let's just do our own thing together. And that's where it begins. And it's not like in the masses, it's not like thousands of people, but I just see groups of like 20 people being like, you know what, like let's go put our homes together, let's buy groceries for each other, let's pay for each other's electricity bills, and then like who can offer what kind of help, as like it's like certain people will pay for things and other people will just help out as a way to pay as their payment for having like their bills taken care of and their food. And then that's where it starts. It starts really small, it starts organically, and then just trickles outward. So that's going to be a huge trend that's going to start, and then it's going to build. And it just feels like there's levels of materialism that will have to fall away for this, but it's necessary. And then I'm seeing like planting gardens, planting food, planting things again. I see yoga outside around the gardens, so planting food and doing yoga outside, or meditation around there, and kids playing. So it's like it's kind of like a family, like it's like people creating family systems, but it's just small communities. So that's coming in, that's the push for us as a collective. So it will start small. Few people being like, it's so expensive, let's just do this all together. Who can pay for what? Who can offer services in exchange for their bills, you know, their electricity being on and their food being paid for. And then it just progresses from there, and then it builds outward. So that's on its way. And it's going to become trendy, and people are going to start putting it on TikTok, like this, look at our community we built. So that's going to really build it outward. where people are more gonna say, you know what, this looks better. So I see an abandonment of corporations, corporate work, of paying attention to the government and like the news, like CNN. I'm just seeing like not caring and being like, let's just build where we're at together. And I'm seeing like neighborhoods coming together and doing this too. So it just starts there. It starts small, but that's the next shift. So start preparing for it now. Start thinking, what can I offer? Can I offer the money? Can I offer childcare? Can I offer, you know, gardening? Like what is my skill set that I can offer? And start thinking like, who could you offer things with? Who has skills in something where you need help? Where can you collaborate? Let that collaboration build. Let it build out. Let it build up. And I'm seeing too that where this will be taking place, there will still be people who are making a lot of money and don't need other people, and they will still be kind of backing up the businesses, banks, big banks is coming through, and government and all of that, and being like, no, this works. So there will still be those people because their needs are met. Everyone's looking out for their own well-being. So there will be people who see their well-being taken care of through these things. So they won't see it as a problem and will fight to defend them. And then there are people who are like suffering through it. So they fight to have something different. Inspired to take action. That's funny. So that's coming through too. So it's going to be a shift. It starts this year. I really think it starts this year. And I think it's going to start to really be trendy social media wise. I feel like in the next year, we're going to start to see it. 2027, we're going to see it being trendy. And then it's going to continue to grow from there. And then we're going to start to see what that does as a collective for all of us. Because it's just something we've never had before. So first it has become a trend on social media. And then people are going to start to realize like, wait, there's so much less stress now. This is great. And then from there, people are going to see how much less stress their friends have and be like, can I join in? How do I do this? And then it trickles out. So it starts small. I see it starting small this year. I see it starting small in 2027. But I do feel like it's going to become, by the end of 2027, we're going to start to see this as a trend. And then it's going to change and it's going to become more of an interest for people from there. So people are going to start talking about it. It's not like everyone will live this way, but I see people talking about it. I see people like actually talking to each other about it, figuring out what is doable, what is realistic, could you ever do that? Like the conversations begin, and it's going to start trickling in, and then 2028 and 2029, it's going to be something that's like a phenomenon where people are like, why are people doing this? Like it'll be in the news, like this phenomenon, look at what millennials are doing now, that kind of thing. But it's going to be a new wave of how we're supposed to come together, and it's going to start the next wave. So just start thinking about that now. Kind of be open to the idea, put it out there and see what happens, but it's going to be really cool. So that is the energy reading for today. Thanks guys. Please like, share, and subscribe. Thank you so much.